Men say things like, you just need to eat less and move more, or why can't you just do what I do? It works for me, not realizing that losing weight for them is easy. A man goes out for a walk, cuts a couple sodas out of his day, and loses 10 pounds. Meanwhile, a woman will do hours of intense cardio. She'll cut out dairy, sugar, carbs, joy, happiness, everything that makes life worth living. And the kicker? The scale barely budges. So these are 8 things that women wish men knew about their weight loss journey. Number 1, childbirth wrecks our bodies. Let's call out the obvious elephant in the room. Childbirth isn't something that a man will ever experience. It's not just having a baby. It's like running a marathon, getting hit by a truck, and then being handed a tiny human that you're now responsible for, all while your body feels completely foreign to you. And childbirth isn't just a moment. It's a complete reset button that we never asked for. And don't get me wrong, I love my son with every ounce of my being. I would not trade him for the world, but nobody prepares you for what it does to your body. Here's what nobody tells you. Hormones shift drastically after birth. Your metabolism is all over the fucking place. Your core strength is obliterated. And your body, the body that you've known and lived in your entire life, is unrecognizable. Stretch marks, loose skin, weight that won't budge. It's overwhelming. And for me personally, this was so much more than just losing weight. I wanted to feel like me again. And as females, we feel guilty talking about how much work it takes to rebuild our body after it's been through a literal battle. The truth is, women don't just bounce back after childbirth. And let me be clear, we're not supposed to. Our bodies grew a whole human being. They stretched, they shifted, they adapted in ways that would blow your mind if you really stopped to think about it. And after all that, we're expected to just snap back into shape as if nothing happened. That pressure is immense. So here's what we wish men really understood. Weight loss after childbirth isn't just about eating better or working harder. It's about healing, rebuilding a core that was stretched and put through the ringer, rebalancing hormones that went into overdrive for 9 months, and now they're crashing. And honestly, trying to figure out how to prioritize yourself in a life where your needs have suddenly become the last thing on the list. We don't need judgment, pressure, or unrealistic expectations. What we really need is time, support, and a ton of patience. We're recovering from one of the most transformative and exhausting periods of our life, and that shit takes time. So to every woman watching this who feels like her body is unrecognizable after childbirth, you are not alone. And you're certainly not broken or failing. Rebuilding takes time, and the strength that it takes to show up for yourself every single day, well, that's the strength that nobody can take away from you. And with that being said, it leads me right into point number 2. Menopause wrecks our hormones. And no, menopause isn't just hot flashes and mood swings. It's a full body overhaul that none of us signed up for. It's like someone flipped a literal switch. The weight piles on without warning, and what used to work in your 20s and 30s is no longer cutting it. And the truth is menopause doesn't just shift our hormones, it shifts our entire reality. And here's what nobody prepares you for. You're doing everything right. You're eating clean, you're exercising, you're getting your water in, you're making the effort, and still nothing changes. The scale won't move. You have this newfound belly. Your energy's gone, and it's frustrating and defeating. It feels like your body suddenly has a new mind of its own, and you're left figuring out the new rules. I work with countless women who hit this point in menopause and feel completely betrayed by their own bodies. And just to call it as it is, they're insecure as fuck. Why isn't my body working anymore? What's wrong with me? What's the answer? Nothing is wrong with you. Your body has stopped producing these key hormones, and it's not playing by the same rules. Menopause is hormone deficiency, and our bodies don't know how to respond. But the harsh reality here is that life doesn't stop when menopause starts. You're not sleeping, you have no energy, your emotions are all over the place, and let's face it, living in a body that's 20 pounds heavier is defeating. And every single female in her lifetime will face this. No female gets to escape it. Menopause is not just a phase, it's a whole new level of fucking hard. So I need you to understand, you're not broken, you're not alone. Menopause is a mountain that we're all climbing. And the higher you go, the steeper it gets. But I promise you, now having worked with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women going through menopause, lose the weight, rid the belly, keep it off, and build banging bodies they feel damn good and naked, you can climb the mountain. You can conquer it, but it will take a different strategy. What used to work in your 20s and 30s is no longer gonna cut it, girlfriend. It's no longer about just eating less and moving more. Menopause acts and mimics a lot of the same symptoms as an autoimmune disease. A functional and customized approach has to be taken here. The only way you will come out on the other side, making menopause your bitch, is by giving your body what it needs to thrive. And here's what we're desperate for men to understand. This isn't about lack of effort, it's about biology. Women aren't gaining weight because they're lazy. They're gaining weight because they're navigating a hormonal hurricane. So men, if you want want to help, stop giving advice and start giving support. The last thing we need is criticism. We need understanding, because I promise you, we're scared and frustrated as well. We would give anything to have our old body back, a body that looked good, a body that felt good, a body that we had confidence in, which leads me right into point number 3. Weight loss isn't as easy for us as it is for you. Point blank. Let's just get this out of the way now. Your weight loss journey isn't the same as ours. You cut out soda for 2 weeks and boom, 10 pounds, magically gone. And meanwhile, we're out here driving our bodies into the ground and cutting out everything that makes life worth living, and the scale doesn't fucking budge. Men can think about losing weight and drop 5 pounds. Women can bust their ass for weeks on end and see nothing. It's infuriating. I can't even tell you how many times I've heard this same exact story from the women I work with. My husband decided to cut out beer for a couple weeks and he lost 15 pounds. Meanwhile, I'm meal prepping, lifting weights, drinking water, and eating like a fucking rabbit, and I'm lucky if the scale moves half a pound. Naturally, it makes you feel like your efforts for nothing, like you're failing, but the math just isn't mathing. Women's bodies are designed to hold on to fat. It's how we're built. Biologically, our bodies are hardwired for survival, not aesthetics. Hormones like estrogen, testosterone, and cortisol play a massive role in how we lose fat, or lack thereof. Our metabolisms are naturally slower because we hold less muscle mass. And if you don't understand how the female body, metabolism, hormones work, no wonder the scale doesn't budge. You're not lazy, you're not broken. Your body's doing exactly what it was designed to do. It just doesn't match society's expectation of instant results. And let's be honest, if the whole just eat less and move more advice worked, we would all have bodies that we love. So let me take a second to give you some insight on the secrets behind the jaw-dropping results that we produce on Team Becoming Her. Number 1, your main priority needs to be adding muscle to your frame. As a female, muscle is the key to everything that is good in life. Muscle is the key to longevity. Muscle is the key to health. Muscle is the key to aging. Muscle is the key to the toned, banging body that you feel damn good and naked. And muscle is the key to a metabolism that is on motherfucking fire. This is exactly what you need to lose the weight and actually keep it off. Number 2, I need you prioritizing protein like your life depends on it, because your metabolism does. Protein's gonna help keep you full, stabilize your blood sugar, add muscle to your frame. It is a non-freaking negotiable. Number 3, I need you to stop, for the love of God, starving yourself. Let's be honest, it leads to your binge, it tanks your energy, and it creates a metabolism that's going in the ass backwards direction of your goals. And last but not least, number 4, I need you to be patient. Our bodies are typically slower to respond than men. Your body isn't the enemy, but it does need the right strategy. So men, listen up. Before you roll your eyes and say just eat less, I need you to understand this. What works for you doesn't automatically work for us. We're not making excuses. We're working against biology, hormones, and a system that wasn't built for us. Which leads me right into point number 4. Societal beauty standards aren't the same for men. Let's just call it like it is. Women are held to completely unrealistic standards, and it's exhausting. You need to be skinny, but not too skinny. You need to lift weights, but not be bulky. We're expected to juggle careers, households, kids, friendships, menopause, all while looking like we stepped off a cover of a magazine. Women carry the weight of the world and then get judged if we don't look perfect doing it. I just had a conversation with a client who broke down in tears. Nicole, I'm working full time. My kids have a bazillion practices. I'm trying to keep my marriage alive and find time for the gym. And her exact words were, it doesn't matter how hard I try, I still feel like I'm not enough. The pressure is quite literally suffocating. We're told we need to be successful at work, present at home, nurturing to our kids, and supportive to our partners. And somehow between all of that, we need to fit in time to work on ourselves. And when we fall short of these standards, well, we're made to feel like failures. The reality is the mental load that women carry, it's massive. We're thinking about everything all of the time. The kids' lunches, the work deadlines, the social plans, the laundry, the groceries, the relationships, the doctor's appointments. Our brains are running a marathon every single day. And weight loss tends to feel like one more thing we're failing at. So men, let me spell it out for you. We're not failing because we're lazy. We're not falling short because we don't care. We're struggling because we're carrying a mental and an emotional load that most can't understand. What women need isn't more pressure, it's support, encouragement, grace. We need someone to remind us that we're doing enough, even if we're not hitting every impossible standard that society throws at us. Because the real flex isn't about looking perfect. It's about surviving all of the chaos and still showing up for ourselves. Which leads me right into point number 5, and it's a doozy. Yes, we're self-conscious that our sex drive has decreased. Trust me, we're very aware that our sex drive has changed. But here's the thing, pointing it out or making passive-aggressive comments about it doesn't help. In fact, it makes everything 10 times worse. Hormones tank, energy is non-existent, and our confidence is in the gutter. It's quite literally the perfect storm. Here's what we wish men understood. It's hard to want connection with somebody when you feel completely disconnected from yourself. Here's the reality. When hormones like estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone decline during menopause, it changes everything. Our energy, our mood, and yes, our sex drive. Add in the fact that we're exhausted from not sleeping and juggling life. Throw in a body that we don't recognize, and it's no wonder that intimacy feels like a struggle. And it's not that we're avoiding intimacy, it's that we don't feel like ourselves anymore. So men, if you want to help, here's exactly what you need to do. Compliment her. Tell her that she's beautiful. And no, not just when she's dressed up. When she's in sweats, messy bun on top of her head, and doing the things that keep your world running. Support her. Take something off her plate. Let her know that you see how hard that she's working and that you appreciate her. I can promise you connection starts from making her feel safe, supported, and seen, not judged. The bottom line is we don't need someone to point out what's already weighing heavy on our hearts. We need someone who lifts us up, reminds us that we're still worthy, still desirable, still enough. So I can promise you, when a woman feels loved, appreciated, and seen, her confidence grows. And when her confidence grows, everything else starts to follow. Which leads me right into point number 6. We're not looking for solutions, we're looking for support. Let me say it louder for the men in the back. When we vent about our struggles, we don't want you to fix it. We're not asking you to be our personal trainer, our nutritionist, or our life coach. We just need you to listen. No solution, no helpful advice, just hear us out. Quite honestly, sometimes the best thing you can do is to just shut up and listen. I'm pretty sure that every single female I've ever worked with at some point has told me that they almost threw a dumbbell at their husband for unwarranted, unsolicited advice. When a woman is brave enough to open up about her struggles, the last thing that she needs is you mansplaining things to her. So men, let me give you some insight on how you can actually support her. Number 1, listen without interrupting. Let her talk it out without jumping in with advice. Number 2, validate her feelings. Simple things like, I know that this is hard. I'm so proud of all of the work you're putting in. Number 3, offer encouragement. Remind her of her progress, even if it's small. Number 4, and yes, I'm repeating this because there's so much validity to this, but take something off her plate. Sometimes the best ways you can help is to lighten her mental load. Do the dishes, fold a load of laundry, make dinner without being asked. Because I can promise you, support isn't about solving her problems, it's making her feel like she isn't facing them alone. Which leads me right into point number 7. We're not gaining weight because we're lazy. We're overwhelmed, we're overstretched, and quite frankly, we're over it. Kids, work, stress, aging parents, relationships, and everything else that gets piled onto our shoulders. And somewhere within that chaos, we're dead last on our own priority list. What I see happen so very often with the women that I work with is that they're constantly in go mode and their health takes a backseat. You skip meals, grab what's convenient, and constantly convince yourself that you'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow turns into next week turns into next month turns into next year. Before you know it, you're staring at a body you don't recognize and wondering how the hell you got here. Life is pulling you in 1,000 directions and leaving nothing for you. So how exactly can you turn this around? Number 1, delegate. You don't have to go at this alone. Let go of this idea that asking for help is weakness. It's survival. Number 2, time block yourself. Schedule your workouts, your meals, your self-care like they're non-negotiable appointments. Because I can promise you, if it's not on the calendar, it's not gonna happen. And last but not least, but so very important, take small steps. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Small actions, whether it be 10 minutes of movement or prepping one meal. And men, remember, when women are supported, they thrive. And when women thrive, everyone wins. Which leads me right into my last point. Number 8, we have different perspectives. From his perspective, he sees the 15th diet that's failed. From her perspective, it's my last resort. A woman starts another diet and a man's first response, rolling his eyes, is, here we go again. How much money did you spend on this one? And every single failed attempt for her isn't about the diet. It isn't about the money. It's about her confidence. When we try and fail over and over and over again, we're not just losing a battle, we're losing faith in ourselves. And for most men, they just see another failed diet and more money down the drain. And for women, it's so much deeper than that. It's not weakness, it's exhaustion, it's frustration, it's defeat. And men, here's what you need to understand. Every time we fail, we don't just lose a little faith in the plan, we lose a little faith in ourselves. And after the 10th, 12th, 15th time, it's no longer about just losing weight. It's about believing we're worth the effort in the first place. We don't need criticism. We don't need judgment. What we need from you is a belief when we can't believe in ourselves. But ladies, what your men need so desperately from you is for you to give up these quick fixes, these unsustainable approaches. You're hangry, you're ornery, you're miserable, you can't enjoy date nights, and it wears on them. Watch your man show up for you in ways you never thought possible when you take the approach of giving your body what it needs to thrive. You have more energy, you have more confidence, your hair's not falling out in chunks, your sex drive comes back. When you feel confident in your little black dress, you're happy and excited. You get to enjoy date nights again. Your man is going to be swooning over that because when you show up for yourself differently, you show up for him differently. These are the 8 things that most women wish men knew about their weight loss journey. And like I said, trying to lose weight can be frustrating. So if you want to learn how to lose weight sustainably over the age of 40, watch this video.